Hello again. One of the problems in planning for the future in Britain is that nobody, least of all the government or local authorities, has a clue how many people are living in urban districts of cities like London, Birmingham and Manchester. The reason for this is very simple, but it's not something you will read about in your newspapers or see on television. It is felt to be tactless and indiscreet, verging upon racist and xenophobic, in fact, to draw attention to it. The result is that when planning for the future is being undertaken, for example, the number of school places, doctors and so on needed in any particular area, all the figures are gross underestimates. This means that however much planning takes place, services will always be insufficient for the needs of the population. To see why this should be, we need only use Google Earth. I have mentioned before that I spent my secondary school years in Ilford, which is now in the London borough of Redbridge. This area has one of the highest concentrations in London of families of South Asian origin, that is to say from India, Pakistan and Bangladesh. There are entire streets in Seven Kings and Ilford with hardly any white people living in them at all. My family lived in Vicarage Lane, and the next street was called Bradford Road. In the description to this video, I give a link which will take viewers to the Google Earth satellite view of Bradford Road in Seven Kings, on the edge of Ilford. Jiggle around with it for a bit if you can see if you can get Bradford Road into focus, and you'll see the street numbers marked on top of the rooftops of the houses. There are, as you can see, 44 houses in Bradford Road. These are the places where people live who are known about, those who are registered to vote, who pay council tax, television licences and so on. In addition to those 44 houses, viewers will observe 16 rectangular shapes at the end of the back gardens in Bradford Road. These are not garden sheds or summer houses or home offices. They are self-contained little homes where people live illegally. Some of these people are illegal immigrants, perhaps workers who have been provided with accommodation, while some have tenants who are being charged rent. In one or two of these places, families live with children. There are also relatives of the people who live in the houses themselves living in these. It is impossible to count these people because they have no official existence. Looking at the houses south of Bradford Road, those in Vicarage Lane, shows the same picture. This means that anybody trying to plan how much water will be needed for a district, or the pressure on public transport, or number of ambulances necessary in so many square miles, or anything else is going to be hopelessly out in their calculations. This is a typical street in an unremarkable London suburb. Anybody wanting to know why the waiting time at the casualty department in the local hospital, that's King George's Hospital in Barley Lane, if they want to know why the waiting time is so astronomically high there, they need look no further than this aerial shot. Many of the people in these small homes are not registered with GPs because the people who allow them to live there make it clear that a condition of giving them a place to stay is that they do not draw attention to themselves by voting, registering with a doctor, or doing anything else which might reveal what is going on. Ilford is just one example of this practice, which is now endemic in all Britain's larger cities. Nobody wishes to address this problem for various reasons. One is that the practice is limited to foreigners and ethnic minorities, and any attempt to crack down on it would be open to accusations of racism. Another is that all those people living in back gardens would then need proper homes, and there simply aren't enough of them in the country. I know quite a bit about this particular area and who is operating the racket in Ilford because my brother still lives there and is almost as much of a nuisance in his own way as I am when it comes to asking difficult questions. He has taken the trouble to make inquiries, and it is from him that I've gained some information on this subject. I suspect, though, that any viewers living in big cities would have come across this before in real life, although, as I say, it's not something talked about openly or mentioned much on the mainstream media.